Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session. Um, I think I'm missing something. Just give me a minute. I need to get the scribbling pad out. Sorry, just give me a minute. Okay. Uh-oh. Just a minute, sir. Okay. So let us understand on what are the things that we have done until now and what are we going to talk about in today's session. So, all right, let me write it here itself. We started off by talking about AutoML. As part of this, we explored both open source AutoML tools as well as commercial tools, which is nothing but cloud tools. No cloud-based solutions are free. Free in the sense can be used indefinitely for free. That is what I mean. Only a few services or for a few months you can use it. But then if you want to indefinitely use it as a free service, then that is not a possibility. When it comes to these open source tools, we have spoken about Teapot. Okay. And when we discussed about Teapot, we could clearly understand machine learning pipelines, ML pipelines. We understood on how hyperparameter tuning is performed. How hyperparameters are tuned. How different algorithms are experimented with different options of hyperparameters. We spoke about these things. And then we switched our gear to something called as Dask, which is a library which will help you perform parallel processing. Parallel processing. So as a data engineer, when you build your data pipeline, there will be infrastructure that you'll be working on, meaning you'll be working on servers with different RAM, with different processors, etc. No one will say, hey, use indefinite, right? Use indefinite compute. That is, use as much RAM as possible, use as many processors as possible, use as powerful a processor as possible, use as many cores as possible. No one will say that. Always there will be restrictions. That, hey, this is the only hardware that I have. Given this hardware, do the best. When such things happen, in reality, that is how it works. You need to make use of parallel processing. You need to make use of all the cores which are available. And then we also have something called as feature tools. When you use feature tools, you can perform something called as feature engineering. Feature engineering means making use of your features or variables and try to come up with new features which can be beneficial for your model building, which can help your model come up with better accuracy. Why did we discuss these things? I've already told you the rationale. Right? When you build your data pipeline end to end, from where are you getting the data? How are you going to process the data? How are you going to build your model? Where are you going to deploy your model? How are you going to monitor your deployed model? When you do this end to end, machine learning building is a major component. How is that aspect automated? To have a better understanding of that, we have spent time on these things. That does not by any means would mean that you should be an expert or you have to be a data scientist. No. High level knowledge is something which anyone and everyone has to possess. There is no escaping. You cannot say that there's traffic light. Red color means I need to wait. I didn't knew that. You cannot say that. Green means I need to go. You cannot say that. You don't know about these traffic signals. This is also like that. When you tomorrow start building your data pipelines on cloud, when you eventually use the automated services, you cannot say, oh, okay, I didn't knew that behind the scenes, this is how it works. Right? And knowledge is weapon. Use it, judiciously, friends, and grab it whenever new knowledge is given. Don't push it. Okay, you should not push away some knowledge that is coming your way. Take it. It will help you. Okay. And then we resorted to cloud. And as part of cloud, we have first looked at SageMaker Autopilot, but it was only half done. So today I'm going to once again explain you about this. Then we have also looked at Azure ML Studio, wherein we have dragged and dropped all the options. Only drag and drop. We did not even write a single line of code. And yet we could build the entire data pipeline. We could load the data. We could collect that data. We have done some data pre-processing. We built the different models. We evaluated the model and figured out which is the best model. We deployed the model. And then we have used it for scoring purpose or inference purpose. Okay. We have done all of these things. All right. Then we also have something called as Google Cloud Platform, GCP. And in this Google Cloud Platform, you have auto ML capabilities. We will talk about this. Today we are going to spend sufficient time on this. But then, before going into that, let us relook at SageMaker Autopilot. And then once we relook at SageMaker Autopilot, we will get into a GCP Auto ML. We'll look at the various capabilities. We'll look at the options. Okay, so it will be a kind of recap for a few of you all. Just bear with me. Quickly only, I will try to, do away with this. First of all, you need to go to aws.amazon.com. If you have created your account, wonderful. If you have not created, you need to click on sign into the console. Okay. And it will ask you to enter username and password. Let me log out, sign on. That would make sense, right? If I click on sign into the console, it will give you this. If you don't have an account, please click on create a new AWS account and create your account. It is as simple as creating your Gmail account. There's nothing sacrosanct about it. Having said that, please ensure that you have a credit card because you need to supply your credit card. And AWS will not charge you immediately, okay, until unless you use a paid service. But let me tell you that SageMaker Autopilot is a paid service. And if you experiment, this is for your own learning, right? you might end up spending around 200 to 300 rupees, Indian rupees. Okay, and that would be what, $4 or $5 maybe. And once you're done with that, you can close it, shut down your SageMaker so that you're not charged again. But if you feel that you are charged more, then you can always approach AWS and say that, see, I have been experimenting. This is not for any commercial purpose. Please, can you return the money? Because you can just request them and then they are going to return the money. Okay, that 300, 400 or 500 max, whatever you're going to incur, that money you can get back. So that's how it is. And once you create, select a root user, not AM user, root user. Give your username and then enter your password and sign in. Okay. Once you sign in, go to services and click on S3, which is called as Simple Storage Service. S3, three S's, SSS. Like you have RRR movie, that way you have SSS. Simple Storage Service. Click on that and then create a bucket. You see the option called create bucket here. If you click on that and create a bucket, it will create a bucket. We created a bucket called as ML on Cloud Auto ML. It's like creating a folder on your computer. If you want to create a folder, you just right click, say create folder. In that way, you create bucket. Once you click on create bucket, you just give it a name, whatever be the name. Let me say testing 1, 2, 3. Some name. And I'll say create bucket. What does it say? Numbers not allowed. Someone else has already created such buckets. Anyways, so let click on create bucket, and then where is the testing 360 here? Click on upload and load the data set. Right, just load the data set. Click on upload, and here it says add files. Click on add files, and whatever file you are interested in, say you're interested in bank additional, right? This is the data set that we have been using. And in this specific data set, which is bank additional, you have an output variable, which is yes or a no. What yes? If I'm going to show a marketing offer, this bank is trying to send out emails with marketing offers. If I'm going to show that email, would people actually, avail that offer or not? If I say use this discount coupon and you get 10% discount when you purchase iPhone, when you purchase latest iPhone using my bank credit card, you get additional 10% discount. When you say that, are people going to avail the offer or not? Will they actually use the discount coupon and purchase iPhone or not? For that, you can build a prediction model based on age of the person, job of the person, marital status, education, default, did that person default in the past or not by taking loan, housing, loan, do they have a house or not, do they have loan or not, so on and so forth, many things. And based on these inputs, you need to predict whether a person is going to avail the offer or not. Okay, whether a person is going to avail the offer or not, yes or no. So let me just bold it just to differentiate these things. So you upload that and click on upload. I would not do it. Why should I unnecessarily do it? Because already I have uploaded on a different bucket. So just cancel that. And let me go to buckets. Here you have machine learning on cloud. Here we uploaded the data set, bank additional data set. Once you do that, the next step is go to services and type SageMaker and go to Amazon SageMaker. The moment you click on that, you get to this. Here you have Studio, Studio Lab, RStudio, etc. There is something called as Canvas, which is started. I didn't get much time to explore it though in a different region. For Mumbai, it is not there. For US or some other region, I think that service is there. Anyways, when you click on Studio, here you have an option called Launch SageMaker Studio. For the first time when you create, it will automatically create an instance of SageMaker Studio. For us, already we clicked on this. And when we clicked on this, it has created a studio for us. Sorry, yeah, studio. Then you need to do a drop down here and click on studio. If this is not there, it will automatically create for you. You need not worry too much. A few years back, you had some rigmarole. That means some challenge in creating this. Not challenge, too many steps were included. Like create a user, give them some access, give them SageMaker complete access, so on and so forth. A lot of other services were involved. IAM service, right? Identity Access Management service was also involved, wherein you had to create a user, assign them a specific group, give them specific access to SageMaker. All this headache was there. Now there is no such headache. Click, it will automatically create. Then go to Launch App and click on the studio. And it's going to open your studio. It will take some time, but it will come out. And this is how it appears, the first looking theme. When you click on this experiments, when you click on this, right, SageMaker resources, in the drop down, you'll have something called as experiments and trials. All the previous experiments and trials that you have performed would be here. But how did we create this experiment? We just clicked on create autopilot experiment. We have given a name for that experiment, some ABC, XYZ, some experiment. And then we have selected the bucket, ML Cloud Auto ML, the bucket, the folder that we created. And then within that folder, we had a data set called as bank additional. We selected that. And we also selected the option which says auto deploy. When you click on auto deploy, it would automatically create an end point, final point where your model will be there. And you can make use of that end point for your predictions. For real-time predictions, you can use that. Okay, that is what we have done. You can actually give a name for your endpoint. Okay, you can actually give a name for your endpoint. But here we have not given any. We allowed SageMaker to choose its own name. Right? We have allowed SageMaker to choose its own name action. Then we clicked on create experiment. But before creating experiment, you also need to give the path on where you want to save all the different documents, artifacts, like code, which will automatically get generated, your data sets, when you split the data into training and test, those things. Everything would be made available in a specific folder. So you're giving a path and saying that, okay, let's do one thing on ML on Cloud, ML on Cloud Auto ML, the folder that we created. In the same folder, we might want to store the details of the data set, which is split into training and validation. You want to store the various machine learning models which were built. All that information, say you want to store it in this folder. And then just click on create experiment. And the moment you click on create experiment, I'm going to stop it midway. I'll click on, okay. Oh, one more thing. Sorry, my bad. You also need to select your target variable, output variable. The moment you select this data set, okay, from S3 bucket, we selected this data set. And this data set is columnar data set or tabular data set. Columnar data set or tabular data set. It's nothing but data set which is in a structured format in rows and columns. Simple CSV file, Excel sheets, etc. The moment you select that file, which was available in S3 bucket, automatically all the features or all the variables of that data set would start appearing here. And from this, you need to select the output variable. Say you selected Y, which is your output variable. And then when you click on create experiment, what happens? Just look at this. Are you sure you want to auto deploy the best model? So out of all the models that it is going to build, 250 plus trials, 250 plus experiments, your SageMaker would perform. And then when you click on confirm, it would create an endpoint, which can be used for inference purpose, meaning you can supply new data to this endpoint and it's going to give you the prediction results. This endpoint can be given on your mobile application. This endpoint can be mentioned on your web application, or it can be mentioned in in any of your business applications. Right? So when you give inputs there on mobile or on your web application or on your business application, etc., it would automatically connect to the model and then give you the results. Okay. So if I click on confirm, it starts the experiment. So pre-processing, data candidate definitions, feature engineering, model tuning, generating explainability reports, insights reports, deploying the model, everything would be performed. Did we write even a single line of code? No. Entire pipeline, data pipeline end to end is created just using drag drop options. This is going to be the future. Okay. So I'll just stop this experiment. The reason being, we have already, done some experiments in the past. So if I just double click on that, you see a bunch of things which have come up. I'll click on home once again. If you just right click on this experiment and say, open in trial components list, you will see a bunch of all the models which were built. Next. When you say describe AutoML job, when you right click on this and when you say describe AutoML job, it will show you this. It is also giving you the best model endpoint. Endpoint is a final destination where the model is deployed. You can use the endpoint on your mobile or web or business applications, right? Then what was the problem? It automatically decides whether your business problem is binary classification problem. That means whether someone is going to accept the offer or not is binary classification problem. You might have more classes also, such as would a person repay the loan on time, or would a person repay the loan with slight delay, or will a person will default on the loan, and these things. If you have more than two, it is called as multi-class classification problem. Then if you have your output variable which is continuous, such as say you want to predict the salaries of people who completed their data engineering training or who completed their machine learning on cloud training. So the output variable is continuous, salary. then it becomes regression problem. The moment you select your target variable, output variable, automatically your SageMaker autopilot would determine on what is the problem. Is it regression problem or binary classification or multi-class classification problem? It would automatically identify. And it builds all the various models. If you look at it, it has also highlighted which one was your best model. It already did that. Okay. And it is saying that objective function is F1 score. F1 score is calculated as 2 times of precision into recall by precision plus recall. And F1 score value ranges from 0 to 1. And if you have a score which is close to 1, that means it's a good model. And we have built XGBoost model. Accuracy is 0.902. Area under the curve is 0.934. You can also click on, and this is with respect to the best model. Always the best model gets automatically deployed if you select auto deploy option. It's best, right? Who doesn't want the best model to be deployed? So everything is automated, friends. If you click on view model details, you get to see various things. Explainability reports. There are something called as sharp values. Which variable is most important in the model that you built is given using sharp values. All the objective functions, what was the server which was used, instance type, ML, M5, 4 large, okay? You can simply copy this. It has a size of 50 GB and it has a bunch of other operations, right? And you can go here and try to search for this, and then you get to understand that it has 8 GB RAM or what is this 8? Let me open that. And what is 32? Let's see. Okay. It has 64 GB RAM and 16 cores. And it is going to cost you approximately $1 per hour. Every hour, $1 is what you'll be charged. And you have performance, meaning what is the overall accuracy value, precision, recall, F1 score, so on and so forth. Then you have artifacts. Where is your input data stored? You shuffle the data. Your model will, a SageMaker will shuffle the data, will mix up the data so that the sequence or the ordering effect is removed. That is also stored. Then you transform the data. Then you perform feature engineering. The code which was used for feature engineering is also there. Feature engineering model is there. What algorithm was built, that information is there. Explainability reports are there. Everything is stored. This is what happened, right? And we already model would automatically deploy the best model onto cloud. Then what you can also do is you can select a few models like this, and then you click on this. Oh, sorry. Let me right here, open in model details. Oh, sorry, I think that was the wrong option. Let's see. Okay, these are the bunch of models which are available. That, here also, I have another stuff. Or let me do one thing. Let me go to trial component list and trial. Yeah. You just select whatever models you want to uh, explore, and here you have table properties. Yeah, we have. Luckily. Okay. So what we shall do is, here you can select some thing like, for example, let me say trial component name is what I want to explore. And in metrics, maybe you want to have your objective metric, right? So maybe we selected the top 10 trials, and then you can click on add chart. Okay. It would say that you can choose the specific chart. Why is the new chart not popping up? Okay, add chart. Here you can select whatever chart you actually want to select. For example, say you want a scatter plot, okay, or you want a histogram. Anything is fine. So you can select details here on x-axis. What do you want? Okay, on y-axis, what do you want? And you can go with a bunch of things here. Anyways, you can use. Let me use an objective function max. Okay, and let us try to compare. So for all these different trials, it has come up with objective metric for all the various trials that you select, and which trial is giving you the maximum accuracy, etc., is also something that you can select here. Yes. So I mean, of course, there are various other things that we can do, but for now we have selected the top 10 rows and then we have done this specific analysis. You can also say I want a summary statistics. Here I want a scatter plot. In when it comes to scatter plot, you can use various things. You can say that, okay, let me use something called as eta value. Eta value is one of the options in your algorithm. Then lambda value is another option, and color, say you want the trial component. The moment you do that, it starts appearing different trials, and which trial is giving you or is having what eta value and lambda value, etc. You can do various experiments. Simply, you can explore it. Then, of course, you can do a lot of additional stuff. Now let me once again open this because we want this endpoint thing. Now on the local computer, from the local computer, if you want to use, I've already shown previously that it is always good to use Anaconda. Of course, on Python, also regular Python influence. Go to Anaconda, go to environments, click on create, give your own environment name, whatever you want, ML, auto, ML, whatever you want to give. And you have to select the appropriate Python version there. And then you need to click on create. Since we are already here, it's not creating, but then if you're at root, then create, it will create. So once you create a new environment, you go to the home and you see Jupyter, just click on launch. If it is not installed, right? If it is already installed, you'll see this option called launch. So you can just directly launch it. But then if you don't see launch, click on install. I think something went wrong. I'll do one thing. I'll close this. This is a problem. Let me open the task manager and kill it. Where is the value? Strange. Which one is using microservices? Only Zoom is it. Now looks hunky-dory. Oh, good. It closed. Luckily for us. Okay, let me close this. The browser is intact. It's not a problem. Okay. Let me now open Anaconda once again. Anaconda Navigator. And then I'm going to once again go to the specific environment called ML Auto Cloud that we have created. ML on Cloud Auto ML. Okay. Some name we have given for the environment. I'm going to open that. No, don't show again. Let me go to environment. And it's a base that we are in. Let me click on ML on Cloud Auto ML. This is the new thing that we created, new environment. That it. So when you create here, you can give a name and do that. Yeah, now it's coming up. So ML on Cloud, some name, some version, and when you click on create, it creates the instance, the environment. Then go to home. If you see here an option called install, click on that. It will install the software for you. Or click on launch. And it will launch. Now, you need to go to the required ML on Cloud, Auto ML. Kernel ready is what we got. Now here, there are a few lines of code that we need to type. Yeah, it's a good one. So I'll just copy here certain things. So what are we doing? Here, if I were to go to, yeah, you have the endpoint. So just copy this endpoint and then paste the endpoint here. And then in the sample, you give your input, new input that you want to predict. Okay, there is a new input, right? You want to predict that. So you give that information. This is your data set. These are the various inputs: age, job, marital status, age, job, marital status. Everything is given. Every input is given, right? And then click on run. So it executes that line of code. But then, of course, there is another thing. Sorry, before I proceed further. In the environment, once you create this environment, you should have gone to this open terminal and you should have installed certain libraries. There are two libraries, Boto 3 and SageMaker. You can just say Kunda install Boto 3, enter, it would install. Then you should also install SageMaker. If install SageMaker. We have already done it. I'm just quickly trying to show you guys once again these things. Once you install these two, then you go here and proceed further. If you just say import Boto 3, it imported. And when you say import SageMaker, it will import. If that library was not installed, it would have thrown error for you guys. It is not throwing any error here. Okay, next. If you want to know the version of Boto 3, Boto 3 dot. This is the version 1.24 dot. Then if you want to know SageMaker dot version, You have the SageMaker version 2.94.0. Then here using this SM underscore, I mean, I'm creating a session for Boto3.client runtime SageMaker. Now your question would be, what is this Boto3? Boto3 is AWS SDK software development kit for Python. It provides Python API for AWS infrastructure. So if you want to use your Python on your local computer, and if you want to go and access AWS where you have deployed the model, if you want to use that model for your prediction purpose, then we use Boto3. We also have SageMaker. Okay, SageMaker library. We have this SageMaker also, and then we have installed SageMaker. SageMaker is used for all these purposes. You know that service is what we are calling. And then you run it. Please save it in this. Then what you do is you invoke the endpoint. Okay, you started a runtime SageMaker session, and then what you're doing is use this endpoint. Which endpoint? This endpoint. EP name is what we are saying. That is this endpoint. And this endpoint is nothing but the endpoint where our best model was auto-deployed. Okay, our best model was auto-deployed. You're taking that and you're calling. Then you're saying content type can be text or CSV. It should accept text or CSV when you invoke the endpoint. Okay, and you're giving the sample. Body is nothing but sample. In sample here, you have all the inputs which are needed. Now, if I run this, the results would be stored in response. And if you just want to print out the results which are available in this response body, okay, say you want to read it. So you want to read the body, that is the inputs. Okay, and then you also want the response to those inputs. And you want to read them and store in an object called response and print out the results onto the screen. There we go. So given these inputs, age 56, and employment status, right? Yeah, job is housemaid, marital status is married, education is some basic 4 years of education, so on and so forth. Given these inputs, this person will not accept your marketing offer. That is what it says. Okay, with obviously certain probabilities. Okay, it gives you very less probability, but that's anyways irrelevant for us. No is the answer. Once you're done with this, please do not forget to delete your endpoint. Otherwise, you would be continuously charged. Continuously, you'll be charged. So if you don't want to be charged, just invoke this client session SageMaker, say sm.delete the endpoint, and then run it. After a while, it is going to delete that endpoint. And when you try to execute the endpoint again, it says endpoint does not exist. Okay. Let me see if I were to run this now. It's these. Look at that. It gave an error. It's unable to reach to the endpoint now. Okay. Endpoint this of account was not found. So the endpoint got deleted. It's always a good practice to delete your endpoint so that you're not charged extra. This is about your SageMaker. So what did we do? We have made use of autopilot and we have built our model. And then after building a model, we have auto deployed the model on an endpoint. Then from our local computer, we have invoked the endpoint. Then we have given the inputs. Finally, we got the output. Okay, successfully we could do it. Right, so what I shall do is, since we have plus time, what I will do is, let me see to what extent this model is getting. So anyways, I will wait. I would not rush in now. Just let me close. Okay. I'll not get into this, but then I'll tell you at a high level that in tomorrow's session, we are going to talk about AI Hub of Google Cloud Platform. But then we are going to make use of something called as auto ML tables. Auto ML tables. That means you use the data which is in tabular format, and then we are going to perform auto ML activities on that. We will use a different data set. We will run it, and then we will understand how it works. We will once again deploy the model on cloud, and we are going to use, or we are going to issue the inputs so that the model goes, the inputs go into the model, and finally you get the output. We will do all of that tomorrow. Yeah. So we concluded the session much early today. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for attending the session. And please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. There'll be a lot of interesting sessions which will happen, over a period of time. And let me also tell you that from 11th July 22, from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. every day, we are going to have Python programming session for free. Okay, you'll have Python programming session, which will be conducted by me, absolutely free of cost, and I'll ensure that I get into the very finer details of Python programming and help you all actually enjoy the learning process. Thank you, friends, and have a good day, or rather I should say good night. Thank you all. Bye.